So good afternoon to everybody. So for those of you that do not know me, I am Elizabeth Quintas from Portugal, and I am the chair of the Committee of Environmental Policy, UNEC Committee on Environmental Policy. I am delighted to be here. We have been working in the preparation of the 9th Environmental Ministerial Conference for quite a few years. And finally, we are in Cyprus. Today, we will have the meeting of the committee. It's a special session. It will take place today and tomorrow. Still, some colleagues are on their way to Cyprus, but we are already a big group here. I would just like to add some information on the housekeeping rules. I don't know which is the channel for the translations. So 1 and 2 probably easy to find. One, 2, and 3, I see. And also good afternoon to the interpreters. So this is a very nice room. And all the premises of the conference are quite impressive. So, but before the conference starts, we have today and tomorrow the special session of the committee. And this session is mostly devoted to finalizing the preparation of the 9th Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference. Tomorrow, the CEP will conduct peer reviews of the environmental performance of Armenia, Azerbaijan, and Kyrgyzstan. We will also consider the extension of the mandates in terms of reference of the Working Group on Environmental Monitoring and Assessment and the Joint Task Force. And we will consider some programmatic documents of the Environment Subprogram, the annual program of work for 2023, and the outline of key components of the program of work for 2024. As you all know, the documents for the CEP meeting were made available in electronic format on the EC website. And if colleagues agree, I would like to invite the committee to adopt the agenda for our meeting for today and tomorrow, which you can find in document EC/CEP/S/2022/5. Together, of course, with its provisional table for the session, which you can find in information paper number 14. So if colleagues agree, we will consider the agenda to be adopted. The Czech Republic, you don't want to adopt the agenda?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to say a few words on behalf of EU as a presidency country. Allow me to mention that EU and its member states would like to thank the Bureau as well as the Secretariat for all the preparatory work they have done for the special session of CEP, including the compilation of the agenda. We also appreciate that the provisional agenda covers imperative themes, as this session is focused mainly on finishing the preparation before the 9th Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference, especially when it comes to the ministerial declaration. So according us, the agenda as suggested can be adopted. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Czech Presidency, on behalf of the EU. Any further requests from the floor? Does not seem to be the case, so I will consider the agenda to be adopted. And as always, I would like to encourage all of you to participate constructively in the discussions, and I'm sure that we will have a successful meeting. I prefer participation in the discussions to silence. So I would like to hear your views, your ideas, your suggestions. That is why we are here for. So I hope that we will be able to engage in relevant, important, useful discussions in the coming hours and also tomorrow. So I will now close this agenda item and move to agenda item 2A, which is on the 9th Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference. This agenda item is about the conference outcomes. However, I received requests when I was coming here. Several delegations approached me and informed me that their heads of delegation are about to arrive or will arrive tomorrow, and that there are a few details that they would like to know. So perhaps we could use just a slot of 10-15 minutes for delegations that still have questions to ask, because I know how it is to prepare the participation of our members of government in conferences. We need to prepare everything for them, and that is our job. But since there are a few questions that you still like to ask our most esteemed hosts, perhaps we can use this slot of 10 to 15 minutes just to ask these final questions. My dear Arabella, I see you standing. Perhaps you could you could sit to have a microphone, because I'm sure that at least a few colleagues will ask you questions. Let me see, where is the rest of the, okay, you are here. So Arabella will join the rest of the delegation of Cyprus. I don't have to thank you. I will thank you several times during this session for preparing all of this for all of us. And now I will, you'll join us, great. So our dear colleague Arabella, she's, I would say, the mother of this conference. And we were very lucky that at one point in time, our paths crossed, the path of the ESD steering committee with the path of the CEP. And that is why we are here. So colleagues, take this opportunity. Would you like to ask questions regarding the preparation of the conference or not? Don't be shy. Well, it seems that in the meantime, you have received all your answers, so there is no need for this, Arabella. So I asked you to come here, and it seems that the colleagues have received the clarifications they needed, which is very good. Yeah. So,
can I say something before leaving the floor?
Yes, I will give you
since I'm here and I'm having the floor, I want to welcome you here in Cyprus. It's really very nice meeting all of you where we met last time in Geneva, in Palais des Nations, being here today. And hope that after all these difficulties and these, complicated situations, I will have at the end a good and successful conference. Just to know that we are here to facilitate you for any other support or any other needs you have. And before leaving the floor to Elizabeth, just to thank Elizabeth and all of you for the great collaboration that we had all these months for preparing this conference, which wasn't easy one, to be honest. And for any organizational issues, just to let you know that we'll have in the entrance of the Philoxenia, in these special TVs, we will have information and announcements about the events or the transfers or all these things that you may feel that you need more clarifications or explanations. But feel free, in the room we have volunteers that can support you anytime, and you can go next to them and ask them for anything they want. And also me personally, I'm here for each one of you. Welcome again in Cyprus, in the Mediterranean winter time. Autumn time.
Thank you very much, Arabella. So we will now go into the substance of the conference outcomes. I would like to recall, colleagues, that in accordance with the reform of the Environment for Europe process, which you can find in the reform plan, EC/CEP/S/152. Okay, thank you. The conference outcomes might include an agreed outcome of 2 pages on follow-up and further action, strictly limited in terms of scope to the themes of the conference. I would also recall that in our special session in May 2022, the committee invited its bureau with support from the Secretariat to further develop the draft of the ministerial declaration based on follow-up comments and revisions to the drafting track changes received by 30 June 2022 from committee members and observers, and to submit it as an official document to the committee at its special session in October 2022, so today. In form, I would also like to inform the committee that as at 5 July 2022, comments had been received from Armenia, the European Union and its member states, Switzerland, Ukraine, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the World Health Organization and the Regional Environmental Center for the Caucasus. I would also further inform that to fulfill our mandate, the Bureau had an in-person meeting on 5th July 2022 in Lisbon. The work of the Bureau in Lisbon resulted in the preparation of the draft of the ministerial declaration, which was submitted as an official document, EC/CEP/S/2022/7 of this special session. So the result of the work we did in Lisbon, with the comments that we received, you can see in the version of the declaration that was submitted to the special session of today and tomorrow. I would like to open the floor for discussions. Before that, would like to tell you that we received a few comments with tiny adjustments being proposed by the European Union and its member states, and one from Switzerland. But I'm here to hear you, so I would now open the floor for comments from delegations. And I have a request from the European Commission, if I'm right. Yes, Andrei, it's you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the EU and its member states, I would like to thank very much the Secretariat and the Bureau of CEP for preparing the new version of the draft ministerial declaration and for incorporating several comments previously sent by EU and its member states. The EU and its member states have submitted now only minor textual suggestions and are prepared to cooperate on this draft in regard to its finalization and successful adoption at the 9th Ministerial Conference. Having said that, we would like to encourage the Secretariat to make sure that, in particular in paragraph 16, the bullet points referencing outcomes of the 7th Pan-European Assessment are slightly corrected so they reflect them properly. For example, references to climate change and Paris Agreement and decarbonization are missing, so we'd like to perhaps see them then. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, European Commission. Perhaps if colleagues agree, we could see the proposals on the screen, can we? Proposals by the EU on the screen? No?
We send it today. Sorry to come. We send it today.
You can project it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the one you are referring to, the ones that you sent today to the Secretariat. Am I right? Okay. Okay, we need a few minutes just to be able to put them on screen so that everyone sees the proposals submitted by the EU. Thank you. So unfortunately, we have a problem in projecting the text and showing the. Okay, so we will make another. I will try again. Okay. So we will. Third attempt. Um, we are not able to show the text and make the changes, and I want you to see the text on the screen and to see the changes that are being included or not. And also this would give an opportunity to delegations that submitted these proposals to explain the proposal they submitted to all of you and to all of us. So what I suggest is that I don't want to have you here in the room just looking at us and feeling a bit frustrated because you're not seeing the text. Perhaps we could stop for 20 minutes and we start again at, let me check, at 4. To give an opportunity also to our hosts to fix this this problem. Technologies, it's difficult to handle them. So let's hope that at 4 we will be able to see the text with all the changes that we've received today in the morning. So at 4 we start again. Thank you.
Hey, hey.
So thank you so much for your understanding, colleagues. So what I suggest now is that we see on the screen the proposals submitted by the European Union and its member states, and perhaps the European Union can explain the reasoning behind these proposals so that everyone understands what this proposal, I'm getting scared of this microphone, what these proposals are meant for. Yes? Lucas, can we see them? Are we seeing them already? Yes? No? Yes. Okay, wonderful. Lucas, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In paragraph 11, the EU has just updated the para so to reflect the established formulations on the most important principles. So we are proposing to include resource efficiency as it is vital for any concept to succeed, any concept regarding circular economy to succeed. Product information, this is in line also with, okay, on the screen, please, again. Excellent. So, as I said, we have been trying to update the para to reflect the globally agreed terms in what we consider the vital areas. So, resource efficiency. And then I explained product information. This is in line also what the Aarhus Convention is doing in the UNEC. Very important also in the chemicals area. Product information, without information on the products, it's sometimes very hard to assess their environmental impact. And sustainable public procurement, we have been talking as a global and also on the regional level, talking about this concept for a long time. So it's established, and I think it's very important to. We think it's important to have them included in there. If we can scroll down to para 16 here. Stop. Yeah, thanks. This is the language that is being used in the CBD COP that will happen in December, and we wanted just to reflect this here as well, to make a link with the biodiversity protection and conservation, because this is the terms that are being used there. And lastly, on the 17, at the end, we have included gender, again, a topic that is, we have made the proposal so that it reflects also other inequalities without naming them, so to stay concise. So, oh, sorry, yeah. This would be the explanations for our inclusions, and with this, thank you, and I'll take off to you.
Thank you very much, Lucas, for explaining the reasoning behind the proposals from the EU and its member states. These are mainly completions, but I would like to ask colleagues to consider them. If there is nothing against it, we will include them in the declaration. I also received the Russian Federation. You have asked for the floor. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. The Russian delegation has a statement concerning the item 2A, the final documents of the conference. And if you don't mind, I will deliver the statement in Russian language, as this is an EU event, UN event, so we always try to promote the variety of languages, and as we do it on different events within the UN.
Distinguished Madam Chair, the Russian Federation places great importance on the Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference, which for some 30 years has been a key European platform for constructive exchanges
Yes, there is, because I'm listening to the translation in English. It's channel 1. In channel 1, you can hear the translation in English. Just a few seconds so that everyone puts.
Can I just check you can hear the interpretation on channel 1? Is the interpretation now working? Then I'd like to say that the Russian Federation places great importance on the work of the Ministerial Conference Environment for Europe, which for some 30 years has been one of the key international platforms for constructive, non-politicized cooperation for an exchange of experience and developing constructive approaches to environmental issues with a view to the sustainable development of the European region. Unfortunately, we are compelled to note that the Russian side has not received an invitation to take part in the 9th session of the conference. But I would recall that pursuant to the 25th session of the Committee on Environmental Policies documents, which were confirmed, the organizational matters relating to the 9th session of the 9th Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference has participation open to all 56 member states of the UNECE. Given this, the lack of an invitation extended to the Russian Federation must be linked to anti-Russian, Russophobic position of the European Union and the United States of America. And this is flagrant discrimination on national grounds and attempts to restrict the rights of Russia as a member of the UNECE. But also noted in preparing for the draft ministerial declaration, the principle of transparency was violated and the principle of inclusiveness, which has led in particular to ignoring Russian comments and proposals which were voiced at the previous session of the committee. Here, the Russian side would declare the fact that it is not in agreement with the draft ministerial declaration. We do not intend to take a decision and outcome documents adopted at the 9th Environment for Europe Ministerial Conference. We shall not support the outcomes and we will not support such declarations being adopted in the multilateral forum under the auspices of the UN, where Russia is a member state. Distinguished Madam Chair, given the position of the Russian Federation, I would call for a vote on the draft ministerial declaration, on this draft ministerial declaration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Russian Federation. Well, we all heard it, and in fact, your request to call for a vote is, of course, something we can do during the CEP. It's part of the rules of procedure to be able to vote. And once there is a request from one delegation, then we do it. That's the practice. So with regard to the voting process, and before returning to the declaration itself, we have received a significant number of note verbal to prepare for the possible vote. I was hoping that we would not have to vote because I still have in my memory many years without voting in the CEP. I have been a chair of the CEP for 12 years. I even got married in between, so many things happened. But we do what we need to do, and the rules foresee it, therefore we do it. So we received 35 note verbal, so we are in conditions to vote. But still, what I think is that before going into voting, which I think that we can do tomorrow if you all agree, perhaps we could go through the text and to still consider some of the amendments, which are various minor amendments proposed by delegations. The text was never considered a closed text in the meaning that there is a version that was submitted to the CEP by the Bureau. It was built by the Bureau on the basis of the previous version and taking into account the comments that were received. And you made a reference to the fact that proposals were ignored. Proposals were not ignored. All proposals were considered, but they were taken into the text, accepted in the text when there was a majority of members of the Bureau in favor. That's the procedure we follow. So we never ignore, we just embed in the text the proposals that receive a majority of support, so that this is clear for everyone. Also, when preparing the declaration, and I hope that you all understand, I see some very new faces here, which is obvious that it would happen since we are in Cyprus and some delegations are here represented by their missions. When we prepare declarations, we prepare a first structure of the declaration, which we discussed in the CEP, and then we ask delegations in the CEP, countries, international organizations, to send us their comments. For instance, I am the chair of the CEP, you have the secretariat here, and not even the Bureau presents their own proposal. So we received, and then we decide on the basis of majority of voting, so to say, of majority of support within the Bureau, which proposals are included. We are not creative, I would say, unfortunately sometimes, but we don't add our own ideas and feelings to the declaration. So the declaration now is as you saw it. We heard the distinguished representative of the Russian Federation in his statement asking for a voting. We heard the proposals from the EU and its member states. I would also like to show a proposal that was sent to us by Switzerland. Perhaps we can show it quickly because it's only a very minor proposal. If our now there are 3. So in between, you've sent more proposals. It's good. This is a very lively meeting. So perhaps we can show the proposals from Switzerland. Great.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you very much also to our host. To be here in person in Cyprus is very nice to have all colleagues in person. I would like to make a reference to Para 4. I thought it was not Para 4 regarding the assessment. Yes, 4. We recognize... Oh, but I got lost here. We sent this morning a text on 4. No. Okay. The one perhaps we sent this morning to the Secretariat regarding... yes, it's not so clear. Huh? Sorry, Yaroslav, because we had many... Okay. What we saw here under Para 4, we heard that UNEP, also OECD, are working on assessment, on environmental assessment in Ukraine at the moment, and they are also plan to do such work on request of Ukraine. And what we had in the declaration here was an assessment later on in a static context, because now it's not a static context as I understood UNEP also in this regard. Then when we will have assessment of the environmental impact of the aggression in Ukraine, we could ask the ECE Secretariat to make an assessment with the methodology of EPR, with UNECE, with UNEP, with OECD, and with other international organizations. But we should base this kind of assessment, this new assessment, on the result of ongoing and planned impact assessment, and not on or because the works are ongoing now, and we should base our work on that. This is our proposal so far in this regard. And we sent correctly new wording on para 3 and para 4 we just got from Foreign Affairs now. And I have to check because it's if we mention under 3 the 11th, we have to update a little bit this text, because as we write this text, it was a few weeks ago, few months ago, and we know that the United Nations 11th emergency special session was not finished, it's not correct, because this session is still ongoing. So we should delete the reference of the session 28th February to 2nd of March, because it's ongoing. It was already postponed once. And as the number clearly identified the resolution, it's not necessary to mention the name, place, and date of this ESS, so it will be easier. But here we are not in a track change modus. Because we should see what has been deleted. Okay, okay, so on the other side, okay, good. And in this, and to streamline the text, we also make a proposal at the end, including through the use of existing international cooperation platforms such as the Environmental for Europe process. To refer to our process. And so we could delete at the end of para 5 this reference, because it is like we have like 2 times the same wording, a repetition. And as the text has been prepared, it was in the last bureau meeting. We had at the same time this Lugano conference in Switzerland, the Lugano Declaration, and had 7 principles also regarding the environment. And it could be good to have it mentioned at the end of para 4, that we should have this principle also in mind when we are doing our assessment. So it's like updating the paragraph with what has been done so far. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. So we received a few proposals from the EU. Do any colleagues have reservations on the proposals made by the EU? We will show it again on the screen. So for para 11, you see that there are a few completions to include resource efficiency, product information, sustainable public procurement. Are there any problems with regard to this? No, wait. Yeah. You're too fast, Jaroslav. So it does not seem. Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I think Switzerland thinks they are useful added comments and refer to work ongoing also in our process with a strategic framework. So it's fine with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So let's go to the next. Jaroslav, go down. Okay, so I think it's para 16. I'm not. Yeah, para 16. Bullet 4. So protection and conservation of at least 30% of terrestrial inland water, coastal and marine areas across the region by 2030. Any concern? Does not seem to be the case. It's in line with ongoing negotiations. So we will clean this and keep the text as proposed by the EU. And next one. I think you jumped one, Jaroslav. You missed, okay. Other gender, to include gender and other inequalities. Gender was added. Seems that the UNEC Secretariat has something to say. Nick, I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to say, I assume that it is not intended that gender is a challenge. Should it not be and gender and other inequalities? Because gender in itself is not a challenge. Thank you.
No, it's good to have a native English speaker in the room. So what do you suggest, sorry?
Maybe, is gender an inequality? I think it is. So it could be just and gender and other inequalities.
Okay, thank you very much. Any concerns on this? Does not seem to be the case, so we will include those. There was a final remark by Andre in its initial presentation of the proposals. It was a request to the Secretariat to align paragraph 16 with the findings of the assessment, the final wording of the findings of the assessment. On this, I understand the point. However, you don't have a specific proposal. And I am very much committed to consolidate the text and to submit it to the conference, because as you know, the CEP does not approve the declaration. CEP agrees on a proposal that is submitted to the conference, and then the conference approves it, adopts it, or not. Hopefully, yes. Therefore, I don't think that we should engage now in additional exercises. I'm sure that we can have this recorded in the minutes of this meeting, the request by the EU, specifically addressing climate change. So if you agree, that's how we will do. Because if a drafting exercise, I'm sure that tomorrow we will not be in a position to have a good text, not a good text, a consolidated text to be voted. So it seems that everyone agrees, so that's what we will do. So no further drafting exercises. And now I go to the proposals from Switzerland. You have two sets of proposals, Martin, if I understood well. One which is a completion that intends to clarify that there are other assessments and that this assessment in a future exercise, the existing assessment, regardless of who has done them, should be taken into account. That was the idea, if I'm not wrong. Seems to be the case. Can we see the poor Yaroslav?
If I may, Jaroslav, you should put this text. We only have one text.
Martin, now we cannot do this immediately because it's not
Okay,
that
it's
easy. So let's
complicated.
look at this proposal. It was your first proposal from the morning, I think.
Yes, the
Yeah.
proposal of this morning.
It's a proposal of the morning. So I would say that by default, this is what happens, but I understand that it makes it clearer. So it's an addition that does not change the text. So if no one is against it, we will take it. Does not seem to be the case, so we will take it. And now we go to the other set of proposals.
Technical.
I will give the floor to the European Union. You have asked for the floor.
Just a technical, for us to better digest what's been proposed. I think if we put it in full revision mode, we will see also the parts that are crossed out, not in the comments. If you go to, I'll have a look. There should be revisions. Try to put it in full. Yeah, thanks. That's better.
That was a good point, because I was also lost.
Make it 2 points bigger now. Thanks. Maybe one more. Let's see if it fits, because it's really from here, it's perfect. Yeah. And if you put it to the right, you can put one more to the left. Go, and put one more. Exactly, perfect. Thanks.
So I will give you a few minutes so that you see the changes. Colleagues, can I, sorry, can I, okay, so that we don't stay here waiting for each other. Perhaps we could just check if there are other comments. Does not seem to be the case. So we have square brackets in para 19, I think. Can we just look quickly at para 19? So we all countries make environmental information publicly available, and then we have two options based on the FAIR principles: findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable, or direct, available, findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable. To be very honest, I don't have strong views on this, but if anyone wants to come in. So if it's not Switzerland, Martin, you are very active today.
Yes, incredible. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Switzerland thinks the FAIR principles are not well known. For example, in our country, we don't speak about this FAIR principle, I think, so far. And it's a reason why we prefer to have the second proposal without the reference to FAIR. But is FAIR in the EU is very well known? I don't know.
But this could be a way of Switzerland getting to know the FAIR principles. I'm not insisting. I am not insisting. Switzerland proposes to take only the second part of the square brackets, meaning the second square brackets: findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable. Anyone strong views on this? Okay, if this is not the case, we will then accept the proposal from Switzerland, and we will keep findable, accessible, interoperable, reusable. Okay, fine. Thank you. Nick, you are monopolizing the discussions, both you and Martin. I give you the floor, please.
Sorry, just to say that then discoverable and accessible and reusable have to be removed afterwards, because otherwise we have findable and discoverable and accessible and accessible. So there are some duplicates, that's all. So you might want to take out at least discoverable and accessible. And even the encourage use of reuse. I'm not sure, but maybe it should be, and encourage collection of local and indigenous knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are in editing mood today, it seems. But thank you for your help. So if colleagues agree, we will keep it as you can see it in the screen. It seems that this is acceptable to all delegations. Wonderful. We have not received further comments on any part of the text, so there is this set of proposals from Switzerland, the European Union. You would like to intervene, please. Lucas.
Thanks. If we can have the proposals by Switzerland on the screen. Yeah, give me a second. We acknowledge the factual corrections that reflect now the current state of affairs regarding the language on the aggression against Ukraine. However, we would like to keep our original text, and if Jaroslav, could you, after February 2022, third line, no, second line, before we recall, okay. In this regard, we strongly condemn the unprovoked and unjustified invasion of Ukraine by the armed forces of the Russian Federation, and only then afterwards put small w, and that would be proposal by the EU. Okay. We would also we understood that Switzerland wanted to substitute in invasion by aggression. Switzerland, am I right in assuming so? Yeah. And we would like to ask you if you could provide us with legal reference to this, because so far we have throughout the declaration used invasion. So if you are coming now with the proposal to substitute this by aggression, we would like to ask you for a legal reference from the international law to this, so that we can be on the same ground, on the safe ground. And what concerns the proposal at the end, what we see now, we would prefer to drop this, including until process, and leave it in paragraph 5 as originally suggested. So the EU's proposal is to delete this and then have it in paragraph 5 as it was before. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucas. Switzerland. Martin, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. For us, it's fine with your proposal, EU, to let at the end of paragraph the reference to our process. So you can delete this deletion. We just proposed to make it a little shorter, but it's fine like that. And the para, yes, and there delete. With invasion, we have the unjustified invasions, and the discussion was, are there justified invasions? Still an open question, and we ask our colleague from Foreign Affairs, because they made many times this reference to aggression, and invasion is not in the UN text, but it was not taken on board. Perhaps it was already verified by the UN, the Secretariat in between, but we ask again regarding this invasions terminology or aggression. What is its agreed language? Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. So you are asking now Did I understand well? When you say we ask again, you are asking now. Okay, again today. Okay, just now. Okay. Any further reactions, European Union?
Yeah, and our then position was if not at this point Switzerland, if the Secretariat could give us the explanation and the rationale, because that would be the most appropriate way to have an unbiased view on this based on the UN language, and the Secretariat should know the UN language. So I think that would be great. Not now, but I think if you could double check with the headquarters, maybe, I don't know, and give us an answer to this so that we avoid further discussions, because it's so delicate that we don't think it's possible to solve it at this point just among us. We would welcome the expert opinion of the Secretariat. Thanks.
We agree.
Thank you very much. Does the Secretariat wish to provide examples? You do? Let me just clarify that the Secretariat does not put forward proposals. What the Secretariat does is to clarify whether or not there is already language in resolutions or in treaties that has been used. But perhaps you could give us a... so you're prepared. Please, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indeed, I understand the request in a way that we should see what language is used in the resolution so far. The resolution which is referred in the text does use the word aggression. It does not use the word invasion. If this is the only reference resolution, only resolution referred in the text, maybe sticking with the word which is used there might be safer approach from the point of view of consistency. But otherwise, let me just point out that the declaration is not in itself bound by the documents which were adopted. And there can be the text which is not directly taken from some other documents, of course, but that's up to you, up to the committee to decide on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you have had the explanation by the Secretariat. Would you wish to come in again on this? Can we see the text? Okay, great. Lucas.
Yeah, thanks for the explanation, and we are fine with substituting invasion by aggression.
So thank you very much. Lucas.
Sorry, against Ukraine, not invasion of. We need to put against. Thanks.
So thank you very much.
Madam Chair, can I say?
Yes, of course. Sorry,
Yeah,
I did not see you.
as a Russian Federation, we reject both terms, aggression and invasion, as well as all the accusations against Russia as irrelevant to the substance of the issue under the consideration of this session of the Committee on Environmental Policy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Russia. I could not see you from here. I'm sorry for that. Well, it seems that we will have a text that we can vote tomorrow. The text does not receive the approval of all the members of CEP, and that is why we are going to have this voting process. These are difficult paragraphs, of course, but rules are there to safeguard that we can find an ending point for our discussions. And also all the comments made in the session will be recorded in the minutes of the session, so nothing will be ignored. Everything will be given proper consideration, all the comments made. So I don't think that it's useful to continue to go through the text, because I think that we already have a text that we can vote, on which we can vote tomorrow. Okay, so the text is what you could see. That's the text that we are going to vote, on which we are going to vote tomorrow. And I suggest that we do it in the afternoon. And since we are going to vote, I will ask the Secretariat to explain what the voting process, how the voting process will be, and what are the rules. As you know, CEP does not have rules of procedure of itself, so we will use the rules of procedure of the Commission. And so that you have all the relevant information, our dear colleague Zal will explain what the rules are.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indeed, I'm referring to the terms of reference and rules of procedure of the Economic Commission for Europe, 5th revised edition, which is with the symbol E/ECE/778/REV5. Is on the website of the Economic Commission for Europe. It's not a new one. Of course, most of you and maybe all of you know that, but because we are going to vote on particular issue, I'm just referring to para 41 of that document, which says, the Commission shall normally vote by show of hands. If any representative requests a roll call shall be taken in the English alphabetical order of the names of the members. End of quote. This is important to note that we are not repeating the experience of last CEP session when we had the secret ballot. That was done because the next para in the rules of procedure of the Commission explicitly asks that all elections should be decided by secret ballot, unless there is a consensus. And that was about elections. Now we do not have elections. We have the decision, normal one, which means that the rule 41 should be applied, meaning in turn that there will be show of hands if there is no request to have a roll call from any of the member of the committee. If there will be a request to have a roll call, then the Secretariat, with the command from the chair, of course, we will call one by one the names of countries and their positions will be clear. This is the procedure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sal. So if, as you understood, if there is no request for roll call, we will use the show of hands. And we will do it tomorrow at 4 p.m. So in the afternoon. You know that in the morning we have a very heavy agenda due to the presentation of the recommendations, the peer review of the recommendations of the EPRs of free countries. And therefore, I do not intend to do it in the morning, but we will do it in the afternoon at 4. And I would say that for today, we don't have anything further in our agenda. But we have a very intensive agenda for tomorrow. So perhaps we could stop here if there is nothing against it. And
We'll circulate the text.
yes, we will circulate the text that will be put to voting tomorrow so that you can give it a last look. And we will be here tomorrow at 10. Please be here at 10 sharp so that we hear the presentations on the environmental performance reviews. As I said, it's a very intensive agenda. We will have 3 EPRs be presented, and the recommendations need to be approved by the CEP. So 10 sharp here tomorrow. I hope you are enjoying Cyprus as much as I am enjoying Cyprus, and I hope to see you here tomorrow. Happy to be here and prepare for a very intensive day. Thank you very much. You have been very constructive, and for sure this will continue tomorrow. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Have a good rest. Thank you.